weekly in-depth view of agriculture up close. This is In the Field. Presented by Gordon's Feed and Pet. We are back in Mountain Grove, Missouri at the Missouri State University's Fruit Experiment Station to learn about winemaking. And I understand that you are well into grape harvest this year.
Yeah, it's looking real good so far. We're just getting things fermented and getting things going.
And how many acres did you harvest this year?
We've got about 11 and a half here. Probably how 30% of that's reds, the rest of it's kind of white, somewhere in there. But we'll make some red. We also do some distilling and stuff here, so some of that's going to go to distilling and making wine.
So once the grapes are harvested and brought here, the first step in the winemaking process is destemming, I understand?
Yeah. Our crew is going to go out, pick it, bring it to us. We hand pick everything here, so they're going to bring it to us in lugs. We're going to put them into the destemmer crusher, run them through that. Depending on the whites or the reds, we ferment our reds on the skins. So if we're doing whites, they're going to destem and crush them, run them right into the pump, get them back out off the skins and everything, and start fermentation there. Our reds, we will run them through our destemmer crusher, then we will put them in our fermentation tanks and start fermenting them on the skins. After they fermentate, we're going to take them and put them through our press and keep the process going that way.
Okay, let's go check it out.
All right.
So Jeremy, this is the first round of fermentation, correct?
Yes, this is the first round. We've brought them in, we've crushed them. These are Nortons here. We've brought them in, we've crushed them, put them in here and started the first fermentation. These has been in there about 5-6 days. And now that they are done with that first one, we're going to run them through our pump and put them in our press and press that wine out of it.
Okay, so what are we seeing over here?
So what we're seeing over here is the wine being pressed off of the skins and the seeds. We have a pneumatic press here, so we'll fill this up there and put pressure on there, and we'll squeeze all that wine off of them and into our tub, moving back to our tanks.
Is this what we would see if we were doing by foot?
This is what you would get. That first round coming off would be, that's where the stage is right now.
I'm guessing they don't allow you to jump in there barefooted.
No, we don't tell anybody anymore.
So the next stage is the second round of fermentation?
Yes, and malolactic fermentation will be the next thing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pump it out of this tray and into the next tank to start that next fermentation.
Okay.
Let me hook this up and then we'll get started.
Ready?
All right.
Oh,
Be ready to hit it again.
7?
Nope, same one.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are pumping our wine out of our press that we just seen. They're going to go back into these fermentation tanks, and that's going to start our secondary fermentation, or our malolactic fermentation. The reason we do that is it goes ahead and ferments out everything that is fermentable in there. Also, it's going to stabilize our wine to where it has a longer shelf life and will last longer.
So how long does this stage last?
So this stage could last anywhere from 2 weeks to a month and a half. It just depends. It's got a lot of variables in there. The wines, which wine it is going to vary, plus temperature and things of that nature as well.
So once this last stage of fermentation takes place, what's next?
So after this stage is done, we are going to take it and we'll put it in cold storage or cold stabilization. We will put them in our stainless steel tanks or carboys. And what we're doing that for is to drop the tartrates out.
And what's a tartrate?
Potassium bitartrate is it's going to be little crystals in that wine, and that cold stabilization will drop them out and get them to settle down to where we can get them out of our wine. You can see in bottles of wine that you might have opened, you might see a little bit of settlement in the bottom, or underneath the cork there'll be a little bit. That is going to be your tartrates. So we're trying to get them out now before we get them into the bottle.
And how long does cold storage take?
So that cooling process, we want to leave it in there somewhere, a month or better. But that stage can actually, we can leave it in there for quite a while until we get time to get back to it and start our next stage of the process.
So now we're ready to bottle?
Yeah, so we'll hook our bottler up to our barrels and pump it into here. But our first step is going to be over here behind you. So our first step is put our bottle in here. What that's going to do is fill that bottle with nitrogen and force out all the oxygen because we don't want our oxygen.
What does oxygen do to the wine?
It'll oxidate your wine and make it sour faster.
That's not good.
We want all that oxygen out. After that, we will bring it over here and put it into our filler. We have automatic filler, so you stick it in there and it'll bring it up to the level that you've got it set at.
And how do we get that cork in there?
So after we get that filled up, we're going to move over here to our corker. Right over here, you're just going to push that in there and push a button and it'll lift it up and shove that cork right down into that bottle. After that, we're going to move over here and put our capsule on. This right here just seals it up. It's a little decorative thing. Goes in there and heats that up. And
the last, but certainly not least, is the label.
So our last is going to be our label. We've got just a small machine here that we put it on there, and it rolls it and sticks that label right on there.
And we have our finished product. Now I understand that these labels are all uniquely hand created.
Yes, so our cellar technician that has been here about 40 some years now, he has hand drawn them out and then we have them printed. But yeah, they're all custom. Each one of our wines has a little different label on it.
So now that we've seen the entire winemaking process, you can purchase Missouri State wine here on campus in Mountain Grove, online at the Springfield Hy-Vee, at the Brown Derby International Wine Center, and most recently at Macadoodles.